welcome to my what I would call a makeshift cooking show on my YouTube live. As promised last night that I came on live, I am here again making dinner. Very straightforward. We'll quickly go through the ingredients here. So we have our 2 pieces of salmon fillets. So this entire dish is for 2 people. We have very ripe plantain. We have a bundle of cilantro, 1 shallot, a lime, and a nectarine. And then we will be using this with, of course, salt and pepper, etc., for the salmon and my oil. Excuse me. We have the rice going over here. Have that cooking on low heat. Just added some salt in there. Once it started boiling, added the rice in. Added the rice in. And so while that cooks, we are going to start with our other ingredients and other things that require preparation. So I'm just gonna put on some gloves, and yeah, we'll season our salmon. Again, nothing complicated. You can stick with salt and pepper. I'm gonna add in a little bit of Cajun seasoning. And no, I'm not going to be measuring. I go by the Holy Spirit to guide me to knowing how much to season. So, but yeah, just like yesterday, another rice dish. This is very simple to make. Um, like, honestly, you have your rice, your protein, your veggies. There's veggies here. And yeah, you just cook everything 30 minutes or less, and you got yourself a banging meal. But as always, with every live, I'm going to introduce myself. So my name is Chiamaka, and I started this channel, Pockets of Protein, because I started let me not say started, but I have been on a proper, consistent fitness journey for we're in 2026, so since like 2022, so about 4 years. And I noticed on social media that there seemed to be a lot of messaging around what healthy eating looks like. And I found it to be quite plain, quite simple, quite uninteresting. And for me, I feel like food, food goes beyond just like fueling your body to go to the gym. So the whole chicken and ground beef and rice diet just was not for me personally. Different folks, what's that phrase? Different strokes for different folks. And for me personally, I just couldn't get with that. So that actually helped me get more creative in the kitchen, where I felt inspired and motivated to cook the things that I normally was cooking, but learning how to properly swap out ingredients or substitute certain ingredients with other things so that so that my meals are aligned with my fitness goals and just in general the healthy lifestyle that I want to live. And so 4 years later, I went from starting a fitness journey to now making a YouTube channel. And, I'm definitely more active on YouTube Shorts for sure. And I'm seriously trying to get better at that. Actually, my attempt at trying to just get into the sort of long form content is by doing these lives. I also feel like the lives in some way help to kind of humanize my account or humanize any YouTube account. It's not like Instagram where you can get on stories, or like even TikTok where you can get on stories and people can see what you're doing in real time, and it just feels more personal. I feel like outside of just general YouTube videos that people post and like YouTube Shorts, like you don't really get a sense of who who people are, the people that are creating the videos. I mean, unless of course, they're the type of YouTube creator where they share their life, but like I don't do lifestyle vlogs and things like that. I cook. So outside of cooking the recipe and you watching the recipe, it's like you don't really get a sense of who I am and my personality. It shows out a little bit in YouTube shorts, but you get my point. So, so I feel like my attempt of just getting kind of in the rhythm of long form is by doing these lives because again, it just, I don't know. I feel like I know how to create and edit and engage in a short form context. Long form is a little different. So, and of course, obviously, I will eventually go back to posting also long form videos. So, you know, one step at a time. I'm trying to ease back into things because it's been months since I've since I've made a long form video. So yeah, but and then I figured also that like in the same breath as I'm trying to get into long form, the only way to kind of establish a better connection with you guys is by coming on live so that you can get an idea of who I am, whether you are a subscriber or you're new and you just wanted to hang out hang out in the live, which I also understand too. So anyway, I've cut the shallot. Half of this is going to go in this sort of like nectarine mix that I'm going to make. Half of it is going to end up being fried with the ripe plantain. So I'll just put this to the side. Just checking on the rice to make sure it doesn't overcook. My fiance bought these titanium cutting boards recently, and they're really nice, actually. I really like them. Yes, they're what I was managing with before were those plastic ones, plastic cutting boards, and they would have all the cuts and slits on the surface. And I always worry about like mold and stuff growing in between the crevices. But yeah, if you've seen like the ads or any like marketing material about these kind of cutting boards, I must say they are quite nice. Okay, so now the next thing we're gonna do, excuse me, is chop up a bundle of cilantro. And half of this is going to go in, I just rinsed it off. Half of this is gonna go in the rice, half of it will go in the nectarine mix, nectarine salsa. It's not really salsa. I'm gonna call it nectarine mix. But yeah, so we'll just chop that down. We're gonna see if I can also make this meal within 30 minutes. Now I think the rice is actually done. Let me check. Give me 1 second, guys. Okay, yes, so the rice is more or less done. Let me bring you guys over to the rice over here. So we are going to add, I don't know if you, oh, we can zoom in, perfect. We're gonna add half of the cilantro that I've chopped in here. And there's already a little bit of salt in the rice. I usually add, I add salt to the water before I cook my rice. Just gives it more flavor. And we're just gonna mix that and make makeshift cilantro rice. We'll turn off the heat. Okay. Alrighty. I'll put this to the side. Now, we have our pan here. I like to test, make sure that the pan is ready. Okay. Is that childish that this is like my favorite, one of my favorite parts about cooking is cooking with my stainless steel pans and testing that they're ready? Anyway, it's the little things. All right, so this is definitely ready. I'm just gonna lower the heat a little bit because once I add oil in that, it will start smoking quite quickly. So we're going to get our tongs. We're gonna add a little bit of oil to the pan. Like I said, it will start smoking quite quickly. Okay. And then we're gonna add our fish. Let that sit. I like my fish skin to be as seared and crispy as possible. Gives it a nice taste. All right. So while that cooks, we're going to come back over here. And the next thing we'll do is chop up this nectarine. Getting cilantro everywhere. Okay. One sec. Okay. All right. And then it's like a multitasking game over here. All right, we're gonna flip this over, and you can see that the salmon has a really good crisp to it. Just let that cook. All right, so now we are going to chop up this nectarine. If I step away, it just means that I'm checking on the fish. I'm gonna make sure that they're cooked on both sides. Anyway, so now we'll chop up the nectarine into small pieces. And this is gonna be like the topping for the salmon. With the cilantro, we'll add some lime juice, some salt, And then, yeah, and then put it on top of the salmon. Hold on, guys. Look, the salmon. Okay. Okay. That's what we'll do. I'm just thinking to myself, like, I feel like summer seriously flew by so damn fast. As a summer lover, it makes me a little sad. All right, so our fish is done. Rice is done. Let me bring the fish over. All right. Fish is done. So you can put that to the side. Rice is done. So we'll also put this to the side. All right, so now what we're gonna do is add the chopped up nectarines to the bowl of the remaining cilantro. Can you guys even see? No. Okay. And then we're going to add, I'm going to cut a lime. We're going to squeeze some lime juice in. Okay. And we'll squeeze the second half. Okay. And then we'll add a little bit of salt. I'm going to swirl this around. I'll get a spoon. All right, so it's a little bit of cilantro with the nectarine and the salt. So we'll set this to the side also. Oh, look at me, I'm forgetting a step. We're gonna do some of this, the shallot. And then we'll cook the other half with the plantain. Okay, there we go. All right, so we're gonna put this to the side. Now, come back over here and we are going to add our plantains. Again, very ripe. Make sure that you guys can see. Okay. I know with plantains, people usually, let me not say usually, but the way that I have always seen it done is that they're deep fried. But again, we're trying to be health conscious here, so we will not be deep frying it. I call it like shallow fry. So, or pan searing it. So enough that obviously if you flip it over, you can get a nice browning on both sides. When I feel like they're close to being done, then I'll add in the chopped shallots and let everything kind of cook all together, and then we'll plate our dish. But as mentioned, it's a very straightforward thing to make. Um, I feel like dishes like this is one of the many examples of where you can eat healthy, enjoy your food, feel good about the food that you're eating, and not feel like you're in food prison. And that has honestly always been the focal point of my page, is that you can have fun cooking food that feels like it's part of your day to day and not necessarily a diet. So if you take anything from this live, from my page, it's that the two can coexist. It doesn't need to be one versus the other, or like one or the other. So I don't know if you can see, we got a nice browning happening with the plantains, even as we're not deep frying it, we're just shallow or pan frying it. I'm gonna go ahead and add in the shallots and just try to mix everything around. I remember when I used to use stainless steel pans and my food would stick all the time. And I couldn't get the technique down on how to properly use a stainless steel pan. I used to use like the non-stick kind of ceramic ones. But I always feel somehow with those, like how is it non-stick? Like what coating are these companies putting on these pans that make it non-stick, you know? So, and it was my fiance that said, oh, well, you should, you know, you should learn how to use a stainless steel pan. It's the best form of pan in cooking food. But then, again, I was so used to, you just add oil, put on the stove, like turn it on, have the oil heat a little bit, boom, add in your food, boom, cook your food, boom, be done. But nope, you try that with this and your food will stick and it will just end up looking honestly like a mess. So, yeah, I think it was a YouTube video, or sorry, not YouTube video, Instagram video that I saw one chef actually teach how to properly know when this is not done, when your pan is ready to be used. So, and ever since I learned the technique, it's been false, what's the word? My food hasn't been sticking, is the point. Or like minimum sticking. All right. So shallots are damn near done, pretty much. Plantains are done. And now we are going to plate our food, which is my favorite part because you get to see everything come together. So let me just clear this area. And then let's turn off this. Oh, don't want to knock you guys over. Let's turn off the pan. And then I want to turn you guys over here. All right. So we will now plate our dish. I have this on a scale just to make sure that again, eating enough protein, not even just protein, just eating enough. So I usually do that for myself. My fiance eats more than I do, obviously, so he tends to eat the majority of the food. All right, so we start with the rice. Okay. Okay. And then we're going to add in the plantains. Ooh, look at that sear. That looks so good. And I'm just gonna add on some extra fried shallots. I like fried shallots more than I like fried onions. Is there a really big difference? I don't know. All right, now we'll add on our salmon. Let me back this up so you guys can really see what I'm doing here. Okay. This is where I'm gonna be extremely extra. But presentation matters. I think it matters. I don't know. Maybe that's just also me like romanticizing the cooking process. Okay. Wish I had more, what is it called? Cilantro. Okay. I'm just gonna add a little bit extra back here. Okay, and I think that's it. Let me take you guys off the tripod so you can see what we're working with here. So this is the meal. Very straightforward. Oh my God, look at that. We are at 30 minutes. Didn't I say I was going to see and try if we can hit 30 minutes? Because that's really the point of these dinner recipes. Like quick, easy, straight to the point, delicious, very filling, very nutritious, and very easy to make. So like with all lives, I'm going to include the recipe for this, like the ingredients I used and so forth in the comments of the lives. I don't know if people go back, but I like to provide them just in case. But yeah, this is dinner. fresh, quick, delicious. And yeah, so thank you guys for joining the live. I'll be on tomorrow cooking. I don't know what we'll be cooking, but I'll be on tomorrow around same time. And